What's up, everybody? It's Mr. Come On 5, and I'm here discussing a topic that is going to piss a lot of people off. This is the fourth time retrying this thing because my audio hasn't worked and my video hasn't been the greatest. But I played around with the cables on the Roxio, and it is perfectly fine now. Alright, so there are two things I'm going to be talking about, and one of them is a matter of fact. It's just a thing that's going to happen. The other is something that's going to make me lose viewers, lose subscribers, get dislikes all over the place, and then gain new viewers and new subscribers. It's going to happen. It's going to be a clusterfuck of rage and then just people saying, hey, that's really cool, I like that point of view. So, if you don't know, I'm going to put 3 separate article links in the description. I'm trying to figure out how to piece this together without really giving away my opinion of it right now until I present all the reasons why I think this opinion. Here's what happened over the past 3 or 4 days. The very, very popular A&E show Duck Dynasty. Alright, it is set around the Robertson family in West Monroe, Louisiana. And it is a country redneck family, and I love that, obviously. And it takes place there. It starts out with their real company called Duck Commander, and they're making duck calls. And they've already made it a $1 million business. So which is why if you watch the show, you see some major house, a great house for Willie, but not necessarily for the people, because they give that money away, and they just, it's honesty. It's honesty. So how the fuck can you not... Whatever. I'm not gonna... But what happened is Phil Robertson did an interview with GQ Magazine. Now, I don't know what GQ Magazine is. I'm not really interested in what GQ Magazine is, because it's not really relevant to this. I just know that it's a magazine, and they interviewed Phil Robertson. Sorry. And pretty much what he said pissed a lot of the gay, lesbian activist groups off completely, and it started a nationwide uproar. But when you think it's going to be a bunch of angry homosexual people, extremists, because not every homosexual person is offended by this comment, which I am very happy with, and that's the people I want to associate with in my life. It's the people that are actually tolerant of other opinions. I went to reddit.com the other day when this story broke out, voiced my opinion, and a guy told me to go fuck myself because I didn't think that the anger was justified. Because it was a comment, and he was saying that the opinion is unfair. How is having an opinion unfair? So I've pretty much presented what my thought is on this. He said something along the lines of homosexuality being a sin. Okay? Now, I'm a Christian. I'm not so intolerant of homosexuality. I don't necessarily care about your sexual preference. That is your decision. And if you're going to type in the comments right now, I know you're doing it, so just stop and just think about it. While you can say it's a genetic thing all you want, then why do people have different genetics and choose to be homosexual? Just please explain that to me, and then maybe I'll listen to you. Alright? Explain that to me in the comments. I want at least one person to do that. If not, then, you know, fuck you. But pretty much, what's happened is that he's gotten in trouble, and A&E indefinitely suspended Phil Robertson, the man who made the comments. Phil Robertson made his opinion public, rightfully so. He has a right to do that. It's called free speech, which is in the goddamn First Amendment. Alright, so go and read the Constitution if you haven't read it yet, and read the First Amendment and tell me what that word is. It's called freedom of speech. You can voice your opinion. But A&E put him on indefinite suspension from the show, and A&E just completely screwed themselves over, and here is exactly why. What A&E did was basically just take away tens of millions of dollars of potential profits, of potential revenue from Duck Commander and Duck Dynasty merchandise, from the 11.8 million people that turned into the season premiere of the 4th season. The 11.8 million people. You are swimming in cash, A&E, but instead, so we just don't offend a couple people, you know, we're going to indefinitely suspend this guy. Some people are going to say that's great ethics and great morals. It's not. It's not. This is bad. This is ruining you. And so how is this affecting hundreds of thousands of employees at A&E who aren't making the money and are going to get laid off? It's not going to work for A&E, and it never will. This is a terrible decision by A&E. And you know what? Maybe that's what they deserve now for deciding that the freedom of speech is a terrible thing. It is not a bad thing. It's a basic right in this country to voice your opinion, to have freedom of speech. You know what? I'm going to say it right now. I don't like Obama. I don't like President Obama. Okay? There. I said it. Are you going to arrest me now? We have freedom of speech in this country, and I think it's important that we're able to exercise it properly to the way that we are allowed to. Now, obviously, you know, there's a fine line between freedom of speech and being an asshole. And Phil Robertson is on the line of freedom of speech. While A&E is a private company and has its own rules and policies as a company, which is the argument presented by the other side of this. Which, again, well, actually, that's not really the argument. They don't have an argument. But anyway, some people that are actually looking at this more logically than emotionally, they are saying that A&E is its own company, so it has its own policies and its own rules regarding what they want their actors, celebrities, people like that to say. They have that right to do that as they are their own private company, and therefore they have that right to do that. But pretty much, I'm not saying the decision is wrong. Again, that's their decision. They're a private company. That's their decision. All right? So I'm not saying that they can't do their own thing. Okay, that is their decision, and their decision is final as a private company, and that is respectable. That is what it should be like. But I think there's a fine line, though, between right and wrong here. And in this situation, they're on the wrong side of this. This is the wrong reason to indefinitely suspend someone. If he said something like very, very bigoted, very, very bigoted, and very just awful, terrible thing. If he said something awful, I'm not even going to do it because it would have to be so awful for this to be justified. But if he made like a death threat to someone, that's when you indefinitely suspend someone and or fire them from their show and cancel that series. That's when it's right. And now, listen, A&E did not cancel Duck Dynasty, okay? They didn't do it. They have put Phil Robertson on indefinite suspension. But the thing is that we don't know what's going to happen now with the show with Duck Dynasty. We don't know. I'm assuming it's going to go to another provider, which I hope happens, and that will have A&E lose millions of dollars, tens of millions, hundreds of millions, billions of dollars. They're swimming in so much cash right now, and they have no idea what they're doing right now. They don't understand what they're doing. They are going to lose so much money. If Duck Dynasty leaves A&E has really no good programming anymore. It's pretty much all pawn shop, storage wars, fucking things that are people spending money on other people's stuff for no obvious reason, just other than to be entertaining, and it's not entertaining. At least in my opinion. A&E, in my opinion, does not have good programming anymore, and they haven't for the past, 10 years, except for when Duck Dynasty has been on. And 11.8 million people agree with me on this. That's how many people wanted to watch the show, and you've got a country with a population of over 300 million. Now, granted, some of those are children, but even some of them are just raising up and saying, hold on a second, A&E. What you did here was wrong. It's unjustified. So, here's a pressing question for you on the other side of this, saying that Phil Robertson's comments were bad and that he should have been on indefinite, and he's rightfully on indefinite suspension. Is having your own opinion unfair? Is it wrong to have an opinion? Are you wrong to have an opinion? Are you wrong to have personal beliefs? Because that's what he did. He voiced his personal... he was given the question, he answered it honestly. What the hell is wrong with that? I don't understand groups like GLAAD and the LGBT community people that are saying that this is a great victory. It isn't a great victory. If anything, this should be treated as pathetic because the people that are intolerant of someone's opinions can the guy. Virtually can the guy and probably cancel the series, because that's what's going to end up happening. Duck Dynasty's going to pull the plug on this, and I really hope they do, because they don't deserve to be treated like this. I'm not, even if there was some random person just on the TV and said, I don't think this is right, I would support them fully. It's their opinion. You have freedom of speech. You can say whatever the hell you want within reason, and you shouldn't have that held against you. So, why do you put someone on indefinite suspension? Why? If you didn't answer me that question, I will just be astonished, and if you can answer it well. But these things where you say, oh, you're wrong because I disagree. This is an unfair opinion because I disagree. You know, I disagree with this, so you must be wrong. Just shut up. Okay, because it doesn't make sense. You can't just hold someone accountable. Yes, someone needs to be accountable for their opinion, and some of Phil Robertson's comments weren't the best. However, and it's not because that I'm a Christian that I'm defending this guy. I mean, that is part of it. He's a Christian, but that's part of it, but that's not the full reason. I'm not defending him because I liked his show. I love the show, but I don't care if he has a show. If this would have been some random person, again, saying this, that didn't have a show on A&E, didn't make millions of dollars, and doesn't have millions of people viewing them each and every time they make a new episode, and reruns, too, and buying merchandise. I don't care who says this. They have a right to say it. They have a right to be heard, and they have a right to answer questions. He answered a question, what the hell is wrong? He answered a question honestly. Can we not answer honestly? We have to watch what we say now, and it's sad in a society where we can't say what we're thinking. We can't express our own opinions anymore, our own personal beliefs. We can't do that anymore, but we glorify Miley Cyrus, who is singing about pot and prostitution in every single song she fucking puts out now. And we have all this shittiness going around. We love this drug knockout game bullshit that's happening right now. We glorify this stuff. We are so happy we have this stuff in our society right now, and now we're condemning the people to a life of hell on earth for expressing a personal belief. Our society is completely screwed because that's the direction we're heading. We're heading into a direction where it's going to be just absolutely awful for anyone to have their own opinion anymore. It's ridiculous, it's wrong, and that's really all I can put on this. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous, the fact that you cannot have an opinion anymore. You have to make sure that you're tolerant, you have to make sure that you agree with everyone else, and if one person agrees with you, may you be damned to hell for eternity. That's what the society mentality is now, especially when it comes to homosexuality, which is just ridiculous. So for those of you that are homosexuals out there and are not flamboyant about it, thank you for not being flamboyant and for keeping that to yourself, because I'm sorry, but no one here cares, okay? It's your life. Live your life the way and accept the consequences. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I mean, I personally believe that that's the wrong lifestyle to be living, but that doesn't mean I'm going to condemn. I individually am going to condemn you to a life of hell on earth. Okay? I'm not going to be an asshole to you just because you believe different things that I believe. And it's the same with religion. It's the same with politics. It's the same with all of this. That is just plain foolishness. When we should be focusing on other things, by making the earth the best it can be, by helping, by helping people in poverty have something to wear, have something to eat, by having children that are sick and dying, curing them. wasting our time with all this foolishness, this arguing, this bitching, all of this idiocy that's going on right now. And I'm not talking about one side, I'm talking about both sides, where both sides of every problem are at fault. And so just because I'm on one side doesn't mean that's the right side. I could be completely wrong, okay? And I'm open to being wrong, and I'll admit when I'm wrong. But in this situation, I don't see how that is. But it's just incredible where we argue about the stupidest things. Because, oh, I disagree with that guy, so he's wrong, he's an asshole, he should be thrown in jail, okay? It's amazing that we have to be so tolerant of each other now that we can't even express our own personal beliefs, and we have to adapt to a perfectly robotic utopian belief of absolutely nothing that makes any sense to anyone anymore. So that's pretty much all I've got to say about this. There will be another video for the YouTube policy changes. Now that I don't know a whole ton about. I certainly know less about that than I know about this current situation. And as updates come out with this situation, I will get to y'all on what happens, and again, express my opinion. And if you want to condemn me, please go ahead and hit that dislike button. If you want to disagree with me and dislike this video, please go ahead, nothing's stopping you. Except the Google account. Thank y'all very much for watching, and I will see y'all later.